In the vast and ever-evolving world of aviation, a question has lingered for decades. Is there an inherent scientific basis for one gender to excel over the other in the cockpit? This question, often whispered in hushed tones or debated in academic circles, strikes at the heart of our understanding of human capability and the role of gender in specialized professions. It challenges us to look beyond ingrained biases and societal norms to uncover the truth about what it takes to be a skilled aviator. For generations, the image of a pilot has been largely synonymous with a certain profile. A man, often with a military background, possessing an almost mythical combination of courage, technical prowess, and unwavering focus. While this archetype may hold true for some, it is a dangerous oversimplification of a complex profession that demands a multitude of skills and aptitudes. The reality is far more nuanced, with men and women alike demonstrating the capacity for excellence in this demanding field. To truly understand the dynamics at play, we must embark on a journey of exploration, delving into the realms of biology, psychology, and social science. We must examine the influence of hormones like testosterone and estrogen on cognitive function and physical performance. Equally important is an analysis of the cognitive and psychological differences between genders, including spatial awareness, multitasking abilities, and stress response mechanisms. This exploration will take us beyond simplistic notions of gender superiority, leading us instead towards a deeper appreciation for the unique strengths and challenges that each gender brings to the cockpit. It is a journey that demands objectivity, intellectual curiosity, and a willingness to challenge long-held assumptions about what it means to be a pilot. Aviation, perhaps more than any other profession, operates within a realm of unforgiving precision. The margin for error is razor-thin, and the consequences of even the smallest miscalculation can be catastrophic. Pilots operate in a world of constant sensory input, where split-second decisions can mean the difference between a safe landing and unthinkable tragedy. This unwavering demand for precision is woven into the very fabric of aviation, from the rigorous training programs to the intricate design of aircraft themselves. Every instrument, every gauge, every control surface speaks to the paramount importance of accuracy and meticulous attention to detail. It is a world where fractions of a second matter, where even the slightest deviation from course can have cascading effects. Pilots must navigate not only the physical challenges of flight, but also the mental and emotional demands of this high-stakes environment. They are constantly bombarded with information from air traffic control communications to the myriad of instruments monitoring the aircraft's every function. The ability to remain calm and focused under pressure, to prioritize tasks effectively, and to make sound judgments in the face of uncertainty is paramount. Moreover, pilots must be consummate team players, working in close coordination with co-pilots, flight attendants, and ground crew to ensure the safety and well-being of all those on board. Effective communication, clear delegation of tasks, and the ability to maintain a cohesive and supportive environment within the cockpit are essential for successful flight operations. In this demanding arena, where lives hang in the balance, there is no room for ego or bravado, only the unwavering pursuit of excellence through teamwork, discipline, and a profound respect for the unforgiving nature of the skies. While the technical aspects of piloting are well-defined and subject to rigorous training, the question of what makes an individual inherently suited to this profession is far more complex. For decades, the aviation industry has been dominated by men, leading to assumptions about inherent gender differences in aptitude and suitability. However, this traditional view fails to acknowledge the intricate interplay of biological, psychological, and cultural factors that shape an individual's potential as a pilot. Biologically, there are undeniable differences between men and women, with hormones like testosterone and estrogen influencing everything from muscle mass and spatial reasoning to emotional processing and stress response. However, it is crucial to avoid simplistic generalizations and to recognize the vast spectrum of individual variation within each gender. Psychologically, men and women often exhibit different cognitive strengths and weaknesses, with men tending to excel in spatial awareness and rapid decision-making, while women often demonstrate superior multitasking abilities and emotional intelligence. Again, it is important to remember that these are general trends, and individual capabilities can vary significantly based on factors such as genetics, upbringing, and life experiences. Perhaps the most influential factor, and the most challenging to address, is the pervasive impact of culture and societal expectations. From a young age, boys and girls are often steered towards different interests and career paths, perpetuating gender stereotypes that can limit opportunities and discourage individuals from pursuing their passions. As we embark on our exploration of the biological factors influencing gender suitability in aviation, it's crucial to acknowledge the powerful role of hormones. These chemical messengers coursing through our veins play a pivotal role in shaping not only our physical attributes but also our cognitive abilities, emotional responses, and even our risk tolerance. In the high-stakes world of aviation, where split-second decisions can have life-or-death consequences, understanding the influence of hormones is paramount.
Two hormones in particular have been the subject of extensive research in the context of aviation: testosterone, often associated with masculinity, and estrogen, commonly linked to femininity. While it's important to avoid oversimplifications and to recognize that both hormones are present in individuals of all genders, albeit in varying levels, understanding their distinct effects on the brain and body can provide valuable insights into the complex interplay of gender and piloting aptitude.
Testosterone, primarily produced in the testes in men and the ovaries in women, is known for its role in muscle development, bone density, and the regulation of libido. However, its influence extends far beyond these physical attributes, impacting brain regions associated with spatial reasoning, risk assessment, and competitive drive. These cognitive domains are particularly relevant in aviation, where pilots must possess a keen sense of three-dimensional awareness, the ability to make calculated risks, and the confidence to handle high-pressure situations.
Estrogen, produced mainly in the ovaries in women and in smaller amounts in the testes in men, plays a crucial role in the female reproductive system, but like testosterone, its influence extends to the brain. Estrogen has been linked to enhanced verbal fluency, emotional intelligence, and the ability to manage complex tasks simultaneously. These cognitive strengths are equally valuable in the cockpit, particularly in modern aviation, where pilots must juggle multiple responsibilities, communicate effectively with crew members and air traffic control, and maintain situational awareness in dynamic and often unpredictable environments.
Let's delve deeper into the specific ways testosterone might influence a pilot's performance, focusing on two key areas: spatial awareness and risk assessment.
Spatial awareness, the ability to perceive and mentally manipulate three-dimensional objects and their relationships, is paramount in aviation. Pilots must be able to visualize their aircraft's position in relation to the ground, other aircraft, and potential obstacles, even when relying solely on instruments in low-visibility conditions.
Studies have shown a correlation between higher testosterone levels and enhanced performance on spatial reasoning tasks. For example, men who generally have higher levels of testosterone than women tend to outperform women on tasks involving mental rotation, a key component of spatial awareness.
This hormonal advantage could translate into a heightened ability to quickly and accurately interpret spatial information in the cockpit, potentially leading to faster reaction times and more effective maneuvering in critical situations.
Risk assessment, another crucial aspect of piloting, involves evaluating potential hazards, weighing the likelihood of different outcomes, and making decisions under uncertainty. Pilots are constantly faced with a barrage of information, from weather reports to aircraft performance data, and must make rapid judgments about the best course of action.
While excessive risk-taking can be detrimental, a certain level of calculated risk is often necessary in aviation, especially in emergency situations.
Interestingly, research suggests that higher testosterone levels are associated with a greater propensity for risk-taking behavior. This finding aligns with observations of male behavior in other domains, such as finance and gambling, where men are statistically more likely to engage in risky ventures.
In the context of aviation, this hormonal influence could manifest as a greater willingness to push the limits, make split-second decisions based on intuition, or take calculated risks to achieve mission objectives.
While testosterone might contribute to spatial awareness and risk assessment, estrogen brings its own set of cognitive advantages to the cockpit, particularly in the realms of multitasking and emotional intelligence.
Modern aviation demands pilots to handle a multitude of tasks concurrently, from monitoring aircraft systems and navigating complex airspace to communicating with air traffic control and managing in-flight emergencies. The ability to switch seamlessly between these tasks, prioritize effectively, and maintain focus under pressure is essential for safe and efficient flight operations.
Research suggests that estrogen might enhance multitasking abilities by influencing brain regions involved in working memory, attention, and cognitive flexibility. Some studies have shown that women, particularly during specific phases of their menstrual cycle, when estrogen levels are elevated, outperform men on tasks requiring them to switch between different cognitive tasks or track multiple stimuli simultaneously.
This hormonal advantage could translate into a greater capacity for handling the demanding workload of the modern cockpit, allowing pilots to maintain situational awareness and respond effectively to unexpected events.
Emotional intelligence, the ability to perceive, understand, and manage one's own emotions and the emotions of others, is another crucial aspect of piloting, particularly in high-stress situations. Pilots must be able to remain calm under pressure, communicate effectively with crew members and passengers, and make sound judgments even when experiencing fear, anxiety, or fatigue.
Moreover, in today's aviation landscape, where cockpit crews are increasingly diverse, emotional intelligence is essential for fostering teamwork, resolving conflicts, and creating a respectful and inclusive work environment.
Interestingly, estrogen has been linked to enhanced emotional processing and empathy. Studies have shown that women, on average, are better than men at recognizing and responding to emotional cues, both in facial expressions and vocal tones.
This hormonal influence could contribute to a greater ability to build rapport with crew members, de-escalate tense situations, and maintain a positive and supportive cockpit environment, ultimately enhancing safety and performance.
Navigating the mindscape cognitive differences and their implications for piloting. As we venture further into the intricacies of gender and aviation, we encounter the fascinating realm of cognitive psychology, where we explore the mental processes underlying perception, attention, memory, and decision-making.
Cognitive abilities, the building blocks of skilled performance in any domain, are particularly critical in aviation, where pilots must process vast amounts of information, make rapid judgments under pressure, and adapt to constantly changing conditions.
While cognitive abilities vary widely within genders, research suggests that men and women, on average, exhibit distinct cognitive profiles, with potential implications for piloting aptitude and training strategies.
One area of notable difference is spatial reasoning, the ability to visualize and manipulate objects in three-dimensional space. This cognitive domain is paramount in aviation, as pilots must maintain a clear mental picture of their aircraft's position, altitude, and trajectory, often relying solely on instruments in low-visibility conditions.
Studies have consistently shown that men, on average, outperform women on tasks involving mental rotation, a key component of spatial reasoning. This gender difference has been attributed in part to the influence of testosterone, which is known to enhance spatial abilities.
Another key cognitive domain is multitasking, the ability to manage multiple tasks concurrently without compromising performance. Modern cockpits are teeming with information, from engine gauges and navigation displays to radio communications and weather updates.
Research suggests that women, on average, demonstrate superior multitasking abilities compared to men, potentially due to the influence of estrogen, which has been linked to enhanced cognitive flexibility and attentional control.
These cognitive differences, while intriguing, should not be interpreted as absolute advantages or disadvantages for either gender. It's crucial to remember that cognitive abilities exist on a spectrum, and individuals within each gender exhibit a wide range of strengths and weaknesses.
Moreover, cognitive skills are not static. They can be enhanced and refined through targeted training, practice, and experience. Spatial reasoning, a key cognitive domain for aviation success. Spatial reasoning, the ability to perceive, mentally manipulate, and navigate three-dimensional space, is not merely a matter of academic curiosity. It's a fundamental cognitive skill that underpins success in numerous real-world domains, particularly in aviation.
Imagine a pilot, soaring through the clouds, relying solely on instruments to guide their aircraft through a labyrinth of airways, avoiding other aircraft, and ultimately making a safe landing. This intricate dance between human judgment and technological precision hinges critically on the pilot's spatial reasoning abilities.
From the moment a pilot takes the controls, spatial reasoning comes into play. During takeoff, they must judge distances, angles, and speeds with pinpoint accuracy, ensuring a smooth and controlled ascent.
Once airborne, they must maintain a constant mental model of their aircraft's position relative to the ground, other aircraft, and potential obstacles, even when visibility is limited. This requires the ability to mentally rotate and translate objects in three-dimensional space, a skill known as mental rotation, which has been consistently shown to favor men, on average.
Navigation, another critical aspect of piloting, relies heavily on spatial reasoning. Pilots must be able to interpret maps, charts, and radar displays, translating abstract symbols and coordinates into a concrete understanding of their location, route, and destination.
This requires the ability to mentally integrate information from multiple sources, form spatial relationships, and plan ahead, anticipating potential challenges and adjusting their course accordingly. Again, research suggests that men, on average, might have a slight advantage in this domain, potentially due to the influence of testosterone on brain regions associated with spatial processing.
Landing an aircraft, perhaps the most demanding phase of flight, pushes spatial reasoning to its limits. Pilots must precisely align their aircraft with the runway, judging altitude, speed, and descent rate with meticulous precision, all while compensating for wind conditions and potential turbulence.
This intricate maneuver, often performed under pressure and with limited visual cues, requires not only exceptional spatial awareness but also the ability to remain calm, focused, and adaptable in a dynamic and unforgiving environment.
Multitasking mastery, juggling demands in the dynamic cockpit environment. If spatial reasoning is the bedrock of safe and efficient flight, then multitasking is the mortar that holds it all together.
Modern cockpits are marvels of engineering, but they also present pilots with an overwhelming array of information and demands, requiring a constant juggling act of attention, prioritization, and rapid decision-making.
From monitoring engine parameters and fuel levels to communicating with air traffic control and adjusting flight plans, pilots must seamlessly switch between tasks, maintaining situational awareness while responding effectively to unexpected events.
Imagine yourself in the cockpit, cruising at altitude, when suddenly an alarm sounds, indicating a potential engine issue. Simultaneously, air traffic control instructs you to change altitude to avoid approaching weather.
In this high-pressure scenario, you must quickly assess the situation, prioritize tasks, delegate responsibilities to your co-pilot, and communicate effectively with ground personnel, all while maintaining control of the aircraft and ensuring the safety of everyone on board. This is the essence of multitasking mastery in aviation.
Interestingly, research suggests that women, on average, might have an edge in this cognitive domain. Studies have shown that women tend to outperform men on tasks requiring them to switch between different tasks, track multiple stimuli, or manage competing demands on their attention.
This advantage has been attributed, in part, to the influence of estrogen, which is thought to enhance cognitive flexibility, the brain's ability to adapt to changing demands and switch seamlessly between different mental sets.
Moreover, the nature of multitasking in aviation often extends beyond simply managing multiple tasks concurrently. It also involves integrating information from various sources such as instruments, communication channels, and visual cues to form a comprehensive understanding of the situation and make informed decisions.
This integrative aspect of multitasking, which draws upon verbal fluency, emotional intelligence, and the ability to perceive subtle cues, might also play to women's strengths, potentially contributing to their effectiveness in managing the complex demands of the modern cockpit.
Decision-making under duress, calm under pressure, swift and strategic. In the high-stakes world of aviation, where split-second decisions can have life-or-death consequences, the ability to make sound judgments under pressure is not merely a desirable trait, it's an absolute necessity.
Pilots operate in a dynamic and often unpredictable environment where unexpected events, equipment malfunctions, and adverse weather conditions can arise without warning.
In these critical moments, when time is of the essence and the margin for error is razor-thin, the pilot's ability to remain calm, assess the situation swiftly, and choose the best course of action can mean the difference between a safe outcome and a catastrophic event.
Effective decision-making in aviation requires a delicate balance of speed and accuracy, intuition and analysis. Pilots must be able to quickly gather and process information from multiple sources, filter out irrelevant data, and identify the most critical factors influencing the situation.
This requires not only sharp cognitive skills, but also the ability to manage stress, control emotions, and avoid cognitive biases that can cloud judgment in high-pressure situations.
Interestingly, research suggests that men and women might approach decision-making under stress in slightly different ways. Some studies have shown that men, on average, tend to make decisions more quickly in high-pressure situations, relying more on intuition and past experiences.
This rapid response style, while potentially advantageous in scenarios requiring immediate action, can also lead to impulsive choices or an over-reliance on heuristics, which might not be appropriate in complex or ambiguous situations.
Women, on the other hand, have been shown to engage in more deliberative decision-making, taking more time to gather information, consider alternatives, and weigh potential outcomes.
While this approach might result in slightly slower reaction times, it can also lead to more well-considered choices, particularly in situations requiring careful analysis, risk assessment, and long-term planning. Beyond brute strength, the shifting landscape of physical demands in aviation. In the early days of aviation, when aircraft were rudimentary machines with heavy controls and limited automation, physical strength was undeniably a valuable asset for pilots.
The image of a burly aviator wrestling a biplane through turbulent skies, muscles straining against the forces of nature, was more than just a romantic notion. It reflected the reality of a time when piloting demanded a certain level of brawn.
However, as technology advanced and aircraft design evolved, the physical demands of piloting underwent a significant transformation, shifting from brute strength to a more nuanced combination of stamina, finesse, and cognitive resilience.
Today's aircraft, equipped with sophisticated hydraulic systems, fly-by-wire controls, and advanced autopilots, require far less physical exertion to operate. Modern pilots are no longer required to muscle their aircraft through the sky. Instead, they act as highly trained system managers, monitoring instruments, making critical decisions, and interacting with complex automation.
This shift in emphasis from physical strength to cognitive prowess has leveled the playing field in many ways, opening the door for a more diverse range of individuals to pursue careers in aviation.
While physical strength is no longer the defining characteristic of a successful pilot, it would be a mistake to assume that piloting has become a purely sedentary pursuit. The demands of the profession, while different from those of yesteryear, still require a certain level of physical fitness and endurance.
Pilots must withstand prolonged periods of sitting, often in cramped cockpits, while maintaining vigilance and focus. They must be able to tolerate the physical stresses of high-altitude flight, including changes in air pressure, reduced oxygen levels, and the potential for turbulence.
And while modern aircraft are designed for ergonomic efficiency, pilots still need a certain degree of dexterity and coordination to interact with controls, manipulate instruments, and respond effectively in emergency situations.
The G-force gauntlet: gravitational forces and the limits of human tolerance. One of the most physically demanding aspects of aviation, particularly in high-performance aircraft, is the exposure to gravitational forces, or G-forces, that far exceed those experienced in everyday life.
These forces, generated during acceleration, deceleration, and sharp turns, can have a profound impact on the human body, pushing the limits of physiological tolerance and potentially leading to visual disturbances, loss of consciousness, or even serious injury.
Understanding the effects of G-forces and the factors that influence tolerance is crucial for ensuring pilot safety and performance, particularly in military aviation and aerobatic flying.
When an aircraft accelerates upward or pulls out of a dive, the pilot experiences positive G-forces, which feel like an increase in weight pressing down on their body. As G-forces increase, blood is drawn away from the head and upper body, pooling in the lower extremities.
This can lead to a range of physiological effects, starting with a feeling of heaviness in the limbs, followed by tunnel vision, gray-out, loss of peripheral vision, blackout, complete loss of vision, and ultimately, G-induced loss of consciousness, G-lock.
The human body is remarkably adaptable, but even experienced pilots can succumb to G-lock if exposed to sufficiently high G-forces for a prolonged period. The tolerance for G-forces varies significantly among individuals, influenced by factors such as genetics, physical conditioning, hydration levels, and even recent meals.
Pilots who regularly experience high G-forces, such as fighter pilots and aerobatic performers, undergo rigorous training to enhance their tolerance. This training often involves specialized equipment, such as centrifuges, which simulate high G-forces, and techniques like the anti-G straining maneuver, AGSM, which helps maintain blood flow to the brain during high G maneuvers.
By understanding the physiological effects of G-forces and employing appropriate training and countermeasures, pilots can push the limits of human tolerance while minimizing the risks associated with these extreme forces. Stamina in the sky's endurance, fatigue, and the importance of physical conditioning. While modern aircraft might not demand the raw strength of their predecessors, the ability to endure prolonged periods of physical and mental exertion remains a critical aspect of piloting.
Long-haul flights, which can stretch for over 12 hours, often involve confined seating, limited mobility, and the constant hum of the aircraft, all of which can take a toll on the body and mind.
Fatigue, the insidious enemy of alertness and performance, can creep in gradually, impairing judgment, slowing reaction times, and increasing the risk of errors.
Maintaining physical fitness and stamina is not merely a matter of professional pride, it's an essential component of flight safety.
The fatigue experienced by pilots is often a combination of physical and mental factors. Prolonged sitting, especially in cramped conditions, can lead to muscle stiffness, reduced circulation, and an increased risk of deep vein thrombosis, or DVT.
The low humidity and recycled air in aircraft cabins can contribute to dehydration, which further exacerbates fatigue. Mentally, the constant demand for vigilance, the monotony of long flights, and the disruption of sleep-wake cycles due to time zone changes can all take their toll, leading to decreased alertness, impaired cognitive function, and an increased susceptibility to errors.
To combat fatigue and maintain peak performance, pilots employ a variety of strategies, both on the ground and in the air. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and adequate hydration are crucial for building stamina, promoting circulation, and minimizing the effects of jet lag.
During flights, pilots take turns resting, stay hydrated, and avoid heavy meals, which can induce drowsiness. Some airlines also implement fatigue risk management systems, which use data on flight schedules, crew rest patterns, and individual fatigue profiles to minimize the risk of fatigue-related incidents.
Altitude's subtle strain, hypoxia, decompression sickness, and the challenges of high-altitude flight. As aircraft ascend to cruising altitudes, typically between 30,000 and 40,000 feet, they enter a realm where the air is thin, oxygen levels are reduced, and the human body faces unique physiological challenges.
While modern aircraft are pressurized to maintain a comfortable cabin environment, the reduced air pressure at these altitudes can still have subtle but significant effects on human physiology, potentially leading to hypoxia, which is oxygen deficiency, and decompression sickness, also known as the bends.
Understanding these risks and the measures taken to mitigate them is crucial for ensuring the safety and well-being of pilots and passengers alike.
Hypoxia, a condition in which the body's tissues and organs do not receive enough oxygen, can occur gradually and insidiously at high altitudes, often without the individual being fully aware of the developing symptoms. As oxygen levels decrease, cognitive function can become impaired, leading to difficulty concentrating, impaired judgment, and slowed reaction times.
In more severe cases, hypoxia can cause dizziness, headache, shortness of breath, and ultimately loss of consciousness.
To prevent hypoxia, commercial aircraft cabins are pressurized to maintain an equivalent altitude of around 8,000 feet, even when cruising at much higher altitudes. Additionally, pilots and crew members have access to supplemental oxygen systems, which they use during emergencies or if cabin pressure is lost.
In the unlikely event of a cabin depressurization, oxygen masks are automatically deployed for passengers, providing them with the oxygen they need to breathe until the aircraft can descend to a safe altitude.
Decompression sickness, another potential risk associated with high-altitude flight, occurs when dissolved gases, primarily nitrogen, come out of solution in the body's tissues and fluids due to rapid changes in pressure. This can happen during ascents or descents, particularly if an individual has been diving or engaging in other activities that increase the amount of nitrogen dissolved in their body.
Symptoms of DCS can range from mild joint pain and skin rashes to more serious conditions such as neurological problems and respiratory distress.
Beyond biology, the cultural headwinds facing women in aviation. While science continues to dismantle the notion of inherent gender differences in piloting aptitude, a persistent and insidious force continues to create turbulence for women seeking to soar in the skies culture.
Deeply ingrained societal norms, often rooted in outdated assumptions about gender roles, have cast a long shadow on women's participation in aviation, creating a complex web of biases, stereotypes, and systemic barriers that extend far beyond the cockpit.
These cultural headwinds, while often subtle and unspoken, can have a profound impact on the aspirations, opportunities, and experiences of women in this traditionally male-dominated field.
From a young age, girls are often steered away from careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics or STEM fields, including aviation, through a combination of subtle cues, unconscious biases, and a lack of visible role models.
Toys, books, and media often reinforce traditional gender roles, associating boys with airplanes, rockets, and other symbols of adventure and technical prowess, while relegating girls to dolls, dresses, and domestic pursuits. These early influences, however subtle, can shape children's perceptions of what is possible and desirable, influencing their interests, career aspirations, and ultimately, their life choices.
As girls navigate the educational system, they often encounter further obstacles, facing implicit biases from teachers, counselors, and even peers who might discourage them from pursuing STEM-related subjects or express doubts about their abilities.
This lack of encouragement, coupled with the persistent underrepresentation of women in STEM fields, can create a sense of isolation, self-doubt, and a reluctance to pursue careers in these areas, even among those who demonstrate talent and passion.
The cultural barriers facing women in aviation extend beyond childhood and education, permeating the professional world as well.
Women pilots often encounter skepticism, prejudice, and even outright discrimination from colleagues, supervisors, and passengers who hold on to outdated beliefs about women's capabilities in this demanding field.
These experiences can range from subtle microaggressions, such as being mistaken for flight attendants, to more overt forms of discrimination, such as being passed over for promotions or denied opportunities based on their gender. The story of women in aviation is a testament to pioneers who defied convention and claimed their place in the skies.
From early days to modern times, women have faced triumphs and setbacks in aviation.
Amelia Earhart's daring flights challenged gender roles and inspired generations.
Her legacy reminds us that dreams know no gender boundaries.
Pioneers like Bessie Coleman and Harriet Quimby faced racial and gender prejudice. Their stories highlight the courage required to pave the way for future generations. The journey towards a career in aviation is often shaped by a complex interplay of factors.
For many women, the seeds of a career in the skies are sown long before they ever step foot in a cockpit, influenced by subtle and not-so-subtle cues that shape their perceptions of what is possible.
Toys, books, media, and even the language used by parents and teachers can shape girls' aspirations, either encouraging them to spread their wings or subtly clipping them before they have a chance to take flight.
Consider the toys that children are typically given, often reflecting societal norms about gender roles. Boys are often showered with toy airplanes and rockets. Girls, on the other hand, are often given dolls and dollhouses.
While there is nothing inherently wrong with any of these toys, the stark contrast in the messages they convey can have a profound impact. This gendered messaging extends beyond toys, permeating the books children read and the movies they watch. Imagine a young girl, eyes glued to the television screen, watching in awe as a skilled pilot maneuvers a massive aircraft through a storm, skillfully navigating turbulence and ensuring the safety of all those on board. Now imagine that this pilot, this symbol of courage, expertise, and composure under pressure, is a woman.
For many girls, particularly those who have never seen themselves reflected in such a role, this seemingly simple act of representation can be a powerful and transformative experience, planting the seed of possibility, challenging ingrained stereotypes, and sparking a lifelong passion for aviation.
Media portrayals, from movies and television shows to advertisements and news coverage, wield immense power in shaping public perceptions, particularly when it comes to underrepresented groups. For decades, the image of a pilot, particularly in popular culture, has been largely synonymous with a certain archetype. A man, often white and physically fit, exuding an air of authority, technical prowess, and unwavering confidence.
While this stereotype might reflect the reality of a bygone era, when aviation was indeed a male-dominated field, it does little to reflect the diversity of individuals who now grace the skies, or to inspire the next generation of aviators. The good news is that the media landscape is slowly but surely changing, with more and more productions featuring female pilots in prominent and empowering roles.
Movies like Captain Marvel, with its portrayal of a female fighter pilot breaking down barriers and defying expectations, and television shows like The Flight Attendant, which features a female pilot as a strong and capable supporting character, are helping to chip away at outdated stereotypes and showcase the multifaceted nature of women in aviation.
Beyond fictional portrayals, real-life stories of female pilots are also gaining increasing visibility, thanks to the efforts of journalists, documentary filmmakers, and social media platforms. Profiles of accomplished women pilots, from commercial airline captains to military aviators to aerobatic champions, are inspiring audiences around the world, highlighting their expertise, their dedication, and their passion for a profession that knows no gender boundaries.
Section 5, Breaking the Mold, Challenging Stereotypes and Shifting Societal Expectations.
The cultural barriers facing women in aviation are not insurmountable obstacles, etched in stone. They are rather, like shifting sands, constantly reshaped by the winds of change. Each generation has the opportunity, indeed, the responsibility, to challenge outdated norms, dismantle stereotypes, and create a more inclusive and equitable future for all.
This process of cultural transformation begins with awareness, with recognizing the subtle and not so subtle ways in which societal expectations can limit aspirations and opportunities. It requires a willingness to question long-held assumptions, to challenge the status quo, and to advocate for change, both within ourselves and within our communities.
One of the most powerful ways to challenge stereotypes is through visibility, by showcasing the achievements of women in aviation and providing positive role models for young girls. When girls see women excelling in traditionally male-dominated fields, it broadens their horizons, expands their sense of what is possible, and empowers them to pursue their passions, regardless of societal expectations.
This can take many forms, from inviting female pilots to speak at schools and community events, to featuring their stories in local newspapers and on social media platforms. Another crucial step is to create more inclusive and welcoming environments within the aviation industry itself.
This includes addressing issues of gender bias in hiring and promotion practices, providing mentorship and support networks for women pilots, and fostering a culture of respect and equality within flight schools, airlines, and other aviation organizations. When women feel valued, supported, and empowered within their workplaces, they are more likely to thrive, to reach their full potential, and to serve as role models for future generations.
Education also plays a vital role in breaking down stereotypes and promoting gender equality in aviation. By incorporating stories of female aviators into school curricula, providing girls with equal access to STEM education and extracurricular activities, and encouraging them to pursue their interests in science and technology, we can help to level the playing field and inspire a new generation of women to reach for the skies. Section 6. Mentorship and Support Networks, Paving the Way for Future Generations of Women Aviators.
The journey to becoming a pilot, like any challenging endeavor, is often made smoother, more enjoyable, and ultimately more successful when travelers have the support of experienced guides to light the way, offer encouragement, and share their wisdom along the path. For women in aviation, who often face unique challenges and obstacles, mentorship and support networks can be invaluable resources, providing a sense of community, a platform for sharing experiences, and a source of guidance and inspiration as they navigate the often turbulent skies of a traditionally male-dominated field.
Mentorship, in its essence, is a reciprocal relationship in which an individual with more experience, knowledge, or expertise, the mentor, provides guidance, support, and encouragement to someone with less experience, the mentee. In the context of aviation, a mentor can be an invaluable asset for a woman pilot, offering practical advice on everything from flight training and career advancement to navigating the nuances of a male-dominated workplace and overcoming gender-based stereotypes.
Beyond practical guidance, mentors can also provide emotional support, encouragement, and a listening ear, particularly during challenging times. The journey to becoming a pilot is not without its setbacks, and having someone to confide in, to celebrate successes with, and to offer perspective during difficult times can make all the difference. A mentor who has walked a similar path, who understands the unique challenges faced by women in aviation, can provide invaluable empathy, encouragement, and a reminder that even the most daunting obstacles can be overcome.
Support networks, both formal and informal, can also play a crucial role in fostering a sense of community and belonging for women in aviation. Organizations such as Women in Aviation International, WAI, the 99s, an international organization of women pilots, and numerous regional and local groups provide opportunities for women pilots to connect with one another, share experiences, access resources, and advocate for greater diversity and inclusion within the industry. These networks can serve as a source of strength, camaraderie, and inspiration, reminding women pilots that they are not alone in their journeys and providing a platform for collective action to address the challenges they face. Section 7, Institutional Barriers, Recruitment, Retention, and the Need for More Inclusive Policies.
While progress has been made in recent decades to break down cultural barriers and promote greater diversity in aviation, significant challenges remain, particularly within the institutional structures that shape recruitment, retention, and advancement within the industry. Airlines, flight schools, regulatory bodies, and other aviation organizations must take proactive steps to create more inclusive and equitable environments that attract, support, and retain a diverse workforce. To address this issue, airlines and flight schools must adopt more proactive and inclusive recruitment strategies, actively seeking out qualified female candidates, expanding their outreach efforts, and creating more welcoming and supportive environments for women in training.
Retention is another critical issue, as women pilots often face unique challenges that lead them to leave the profession at higher rates than their male counterparts.
To retain talented female pilots, airlines and aviation organizations must address these issues head-on, creating more flexible work arrangements, promoting work-life balance initiatives, and providing equal opportunities for professional development and advancement.
Section 8, Work-Life Balance in the Skies, addressing the unique challenges faced by women pilots.
However, for women pilots, who often bear a disproportionate share of family and caregiving responsibilities, the pursuit of work-life balance can feel like navigating a particularly turbulent patch of airspace.
The traditional structures and expectations within the aviation industry can create significant challenges for women seeking to balance the demands of their careers with their personal lives.
One of the most significant challenges is the inflexible nature of airline scheduling, making it difficult to plan for family events, childcare arrangements, and other personal commitments.
This lack of predictability and control over one's schedule can create significant stress, particularly for women who are primary caregivers.
To address these challenges, airlines and aviation organizations must adopt more family-friendly policies that provide greater flexibility, support, and accommodation for women pilots.
Section 9, Global Perspectives, Cultural Variations in Attitudes Toward Women in Aviation.
While some countries have made significant strides in breaking down barriers and promoting women's participation in aviation, others continue to lag behind, clinging to traditional gender roles and perpetuating stereotypes.
In many Western countries, particularly in North America and Europe, The aviation industry has witnessed a gradual but steady increase in the number of women pilots in recent decades.
This trend can be attributed to a confluence of factors, including the rise of the feminist movement, the implementation of anti-discrimination laws, and a growing recognition within the industry of the need for a more diverse workforce.
However, even in these regions, women remain significantly underrepresented in aviation, often facing subtle biases, stereotypes, and a lack of mentorship and support.
Despite these challenges, inspiring stories of women breaking down barriers and achieving their dreams in aviation are emerging from all corners of the globe.
Section 10. A more inclusive future fostering diversity and equity in the skies.
The talent pool from which airlines, flight schools, and other aviation organizations draw upon is becoming increasingly diverse, reflecting the changing demographics of the global population.
To remain competitive, innovative, and responsive to the needs of a globalized world, the aviation industry must create inclusive and equitable environments that attract, nurture, and empower individuals from all backgrounds.
Creating a more inclusive aviation industry requires a multifaceted approach, addressing systemic barriers, challenging unconscious biases, and fostering a culture of respect and belonging for all.
It requires a commitment from leaders at all levels to champion diversity and inclusion initiatives and to create a welcoming and supportive environment for everyone who dreams of taking to the skies.
One crucial step is to increase the representation of women and other underrepresented groups in leadership positions within aviation organizations.
Separating myth from reality, examining gender and pilot performance.
This debate, often fueled by stereotypes rather than scientific rigor, has at times hindered efforts to create a more inclusive and equitable aviation industry.
To move beyond these outdated notions, we must turn to the realm of empirical evidence, examining the data collected from rigorous studies and real-world observations.
A skilled pilot must possess exceptional spatial reasoning abilities, the capacity to multitask effectively, the composure to make sound decisions under pressure, and the communication skills to coordinate seamlessly with crew members.
One of the most comprehensive and influential studies on gender and pilot performance was conducted by NASA, which found no significant gender-based differences in overall pilot performance.
These findings challenge the long-held assumption that men are inherently better suited to piloting than women.
The evidence suggests that both genders are equally capable of excelling in this demanding profession, provided they possess the necessary skills, training, and temperament. Simulation versus reality, assessing gender differences in controlled environments.
Flight simulators, those technological marvels that replicate the experience of flying with remarkable fidelity, have become indispensable tools in pilot training and assessment.
While simulators cannot perfectly replicate every nuance of flight, they provide valuable insights into pilot performance, allowing researchers to isolate specific skills, manipulate variables, and collect objective data.
Numerous studies have used flight simulators to investigate potential gender differences in pilot performance, focusing on specific skills such as spatial awareness, multitasking, decision-making under pressure, and communication.
These studies have yielded a mixed bag of results, with some suggesting minor gender-based differences in certain areas, while others find no significant differences at all.
It's important to note that while simulators provide a valuable tool for research, they are not without their limitations.
Real-world data speaks, analyzing safety records and performance metrics.
While flight simulators offer a controlled environment for studying specific aspects of pilot performance, the ultimate test of a pilot's skill, judgment, and resilience lies in the crucible of real-world flying.
Analyzing safety records, incident reports, and other performance metrics from actual flights provides invaluable insights into the factors that contribute to safe and efficient aviation operations.
Importantly, analyses of aviation safety records have consistently shown that gender is not a statistically significant factor in accidents or incidents.
This finding is further supported by the analysis of other performance metrics such as adherence to standard operating procedures, communication effectiveness, and fuel efficiency.
Studies examining these metrics have generally found no significant differences between male and female pilots.
Despite these limitations, real-world data provides compelling evidence that gender is not a reliable predictor of pilot performance or safety. Section 4. The multifaceted nature of performance, beyond simple comparisons. Pilot performance is a multifaceted tapestry woven from cognitive, physical, and behavioral attributes. We must move beyond binary comparisons and embrace individual differences. Strengths and weaknesses vary within genders, shaped by training and experience. The best pilot for a role depends on specific demands and individual strengths. The aviation industry should value diversity and provide equal opportunities for all. How gender influences decision-making under duress. In aviation, split-second decisions are crucial. Emergencies test pilots' limits, revealing their true mettle. Research suggests gender might influence decision-making under stress. Men often experience a rapid surge in testosterone, enhancing focus but risking impulsivity. Women with increased oxytocin may favor collaboration and measured approaches. Effective training should equip all pilots to manage stress and make sound judgments under pressure. Section 6. Communication and Crew Resource Management. Bridging the gender gap in the cockpit. In the complex and demanding world of aviation, effective communication is not merely a desirable soft skill, it's a critical safety imperative. Pilots operate as part of a highly coordinated team, constantly exchanging information with co-pilots, air traffic controllers, flight dispatchers, and cabin crew to ensure the safe and efficient operation of the aircraft. Clear, concise, and timely communication is essential for maintaining situational awareness, resolving conflicts, coordinating tasks, and responding effectively to unexpected events. In recent decades, the aviation industry has placed increasing emphasis on crew resource management, a training approach that focuses on improving teamwork, communication, and decision-making within the cockpit. While communication is vital for all pilots, regardless of gender, research suggests that there might be subtle but potentially significant differences in how men and women communicate, which could have implications for cockpit dynamics and CRM effectiveness. Men, for example, tend to communicate in a more assertive and direct style, often focusing on conveying information, establishing dominance, or maintaining control of the conversation. Women, on the other hand, typically communicate in a more collaborative and indirect style, prioritizing relationship building, seeking consensus, and showing empathy towards others. These differences in communication styles, while not inherently good or bad, can sometimes lead to misunderstandings or conflicts, particularly in high-stress situations where clear and unambiguous communication is crucial. For example, a male pilot's direct communication style might be misinterpreted as aggressive or dismissive by a female co-pilot, while a female pilot's more collaborative approach might be perceived as hesitant or indecisive by a male colleague. Effective CRM training should address these potential gender differences in communication styles, fostering an environment of mutual respect and understanding within the cockpit. Pilots should be encouraged to be aware of their own communication styles and how they might be perceived by others, as well as to develop the skills to adapt their communication styles to different situations and individuals. Training should also emphasize the importance of active listening, clear and concise message delivery, and the use of standardized terminology to minimize misunderstandings. Navigation, the art and science of planning and following a route, is a fundamental aspect of piloting. It requires spatial awareness, map interpretation, and adapting to changing conditions. Pilots maintain a mental model of their aircraft's position, even in low visibility. This intricate dance between human judgment and technology relies on spatial reasoning. Training should equip all pilots with the skills to navigate safely and effectively. How technology impacts gender differences. The evolution of aviation technology has transformed the role of the pilot. Automation enhances safety and reduces pilot workload but introduces new challenges. Gender may influence how pilots adapt to these advancements. Studies suggest men might over-rely on automation, while women monitor systems more vigilantly. Training is crucial to prepare all pilots to interact effectively with automated systems. Section 9. Cognitive ergonomics, designing cockpits for diverse minds. The design of aircraft cockpits, once a realm dominated by engineering considerations alone, has increasingly embraced the principles of human factors, or ergonomics, which focus on optimizing the interaction between humans and machines to enhance safety, efficiency, and user satisfaction. Cognitive ergonomics, a specialized branch of this field, delves into the mental processes involved in piloting, such as perception, attention, memory, and decision-making, to design cockpits that support these cognitive functions and minimize the potential for human error. As the aviation industry strives to create a more inclusive and diverse workforce, it's becoming increasingly important to consider how cockpit design might impact pilots of different genders, backgrounds, and cognitive styles. Traditionally, cockpit design has often been based on the anthropometric data of male pilots, which can result in cockpits that are not optimally designed for the physical characteristics of female pilots, such as reach, grip strength, or field of vision. However, cognitive ergonomics goes beyond physical considerations, recognizing that pilots of different genders, ages, and cultural backgrounds might process information differently, have different communication styles, or respond to stress in unique ways. For example, research suggests that women on average might have a greater sensitivity to glare and reflections, which could be a factor in cockpit lighting design. Similarly, differences in spatial reasoning abilities might necessitate variations in the layout of displays or the organization of information on instrument panels. Cultural factors such as language differences or variations in symbol interpretation might also need to be considered in the design of warnings, alerts, and other cockpit communication systems. By incorporating the principles of cognitive ergonomics and considering the needs of a diverse pilot population, the aviation industry can design cockpits that are more intuitive, user-friendly, and adaptable to the cognitive strengths and weaknesses of all pilots, regardless of gender or background. This, in turn, can enhance safety, reduce workload, and improve overall pilot performance. Section 10, the future of performance analysis, moving beyond gender to individualized assessments. As the aviation industry continues to evolve, embracing technological advancements, striving for greater sustainability, and navigating the challenges of a rapidly changing world, one thing is clear. The future of pilot performance analysis lies in moving beyond simplistic gender comparisons and embracing the complexity of individual differences. The quest to identify the ideal pilot is not about finding a single profile that fits all. It's about recognizing that each individual brings a unique set of strengths, weaknesses, experiences, and perspectives to the cockpit. The emerging field of personalized medicine, which tailors medical treatments to an individual's unique genetic makeup, lifestyle, and environmental factors, offers a compelling model for the future of pilot performance analysis. Just as personalized medicine recognizes that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to healthcare, personalized pilot training and assessment acknowledges that each pilot has a unique learning style, stress response, and set of cognitive strengths and weaknesses. Advances in technology, particularly in areas such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and wearable sensors, are paving the way for more individualized and data-driven approaches to pilot assessment. Imagine a future where pilots wear biosensors during training that track their physiological responses, such as heart rate variability, eye movements, and brainwave activity, providing real-time feedback on their stress levels, workload, and cognitive engagement. This data, combined with performance data from simulators and real-world flights, could be used to create personalized training programs tailored to each pilot's individual needs and learning styles. By embracing individualized assessments, the aviation industry can move beyond the limitations of gender stereotypes and create a more inclusive, equitable, and performance-driven culture that values the unique contributions of all pilots regardless of their gender or background. This shift towards personalized training and assessment has the potential to enhance safety, improve efficiency, and unlock the full potential of a diverse and talented pilot workforce, ensuring that the skies remain a safe and accessible frontier for generations to come. Embracing a more inclusive and equitable aviation industry. Both men and women possess the abilities to excel in aviation. The key is valuing unique strengths and perspectives. By fostering respect, mentorship, and support, we can create a diverse aviation industry. The future of aviation is about embracing diversity and inclusion.